guys? Welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. My name is Annie. I welcome you to come into these tarot readings with an open heart, an open mind, and a desire to better yourself. This is optional advice or guidance meant to motivate you, empower you, inspire you, and offer you confirmations on things that you are already thinking and feeling and sensing. If you don't resonate with the material that comes through, please push those messages aside. They may resonate for you at a later date, and they may not. Have faith it's going out to someone who needs to hear it, even if it is not you. Use your logic, your discretion, your discernment. Separate what is meant for you and what is not. I come at this with love and positivity, so please take that away here today. You are responsible for all your own actions and decisions. Let's try and have some fun. To get you some insightful messages, check out that box below for the decks I use, how to contact me for a personal, as well as my social media links. Welcome to the tea party. Let's read your tarot cards. What's up, Gemini? Happy holidays. Welcome to your mid-monthly December tarot check-in. We're doing it a little differently this time. I have pre-shuffled your cards off camera. They are here and ready to be read. Let's hop in. So first card out the deck is the Nine of Swords. So this is in fact a Gemini card. Frequently, Nine of Swords indicates there's just a lot on your mind. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, and there's a sense of feeling kind of overwhelmed or possibly even intimidated on where to start or how to move forward or what to communicate, or am I perceiving the truth, the reality of the situation, or am like sort of a clouded headspace. Interestingly enough, this is shown with rainbow tears. Instantly when I saw this, I was like, oh, Gemini's missing somebody. It's like you're missing somebody and you can't get to them. And I have to be honest, it may indicate a Sagittarius with those rainbow tears. That's what I'm going to call your video, hashtag rainbow tears. It just sounds very mysterious and intriguing. It could also indicate same-sex partnership. I always think, any rainbow in tarot represents unity and, acceptance of all groups. So especially same-sex couples, this might be for you. And the reason why I'm this is an unusual deck. I'm using Badass Tarot by Harley Spencer. Really cool deck. Very unusual. The reason I think it may have to do with a missing person is it's being clarified with Five of Pentacles, which again, in this specific deck, it's shown as like the missing piece to the puzzle. So I do want to make you aware of looking at your relationships in terms of where you're being too codependent, or the opposite of maybe where you've been a little bit held back and sort of need to compensate the opposite way. Now you are the twins, right? So there's a duality to that message where maybe you're being asked to examine multiple relationships in your life. I do sense though that there's a regret, remorse, even possibly resentment for the one you're missing. It's possible that if you were in a new relationship or in a long-term relationship, somebody may have had to up and leave due to some sort of, I'm going to say unfortunate circumstance. Now, it depends how you look at it. That unfortunate circumstance where you guys had to end the relationship or put your life on pause may have had to do with the fact that they had to take a job in another city, or maybe they were dealing with an ill parent, or, some sort of responsibility is the key word I'm getting here with Earth energy. Very likely, if this is a man and a woman, though it doesn't have to be, I'm sort of getting the masculine is missing and the feminine is, the masculine is not in the picture, not with you by your side right now, and the feminine seems to be very upset about that. Now, there could have been a harsh exchange of words. There could have been things you said or did that you regret. Ultimately, though, I'm getting that you miss them. I think there's a longing, anyway, these depictions are different, so I'm having to read them more intuitively, which I'm kind of excited about. But yeah, for those who follow tarot, you're like, Nine of Swords, Five of Pentacles. I don't know. I agree with you there, but that's not what this message is saying to me. So keep an open heart, keep an open mind, right? So then let's see. In the past, what's going on? In the past, I'm getting a lot of self-talk about toughen up, put on your coat of armor. Don't let, it's almost like don't show face. Don't let the people around you know what you're thinking or feeling. I'm getting this like, Put your chin up, toughen up, don't let them know. That's sort of what I get with this King of Swords, who is probably my least emotional king. It doesn't mean he doesn't feel things, right? So particularly with a male air sign, whether that's you, Gemini, or someone you're dealing with, it could be someone who doesn't like to express their emotions, their feelings, someone who doesn't wear their heart on their sleeve. But I also get this, something about a very important letter or a very important exchange of words between you guys where maybe one of you kind of bared your souls or said something that made you a little bit more vulnerable because you did decide to share more than you usually would about something that you felt very strongly about. And so I'm sort of getting this idea of written in ink or written in stone. The idea of it's been memorialized, or it's a very important piece of writing, or again, a very important expression of someone's truth, that it's I don't know how to phrase this exactly, but it's going to be referred to later in the future, because whatever that piece of writing or that expression, it's not done. It's a little bit foggy to me, guys. I'm trying to express it in a way that makes sense. It could have been that you sent a very important text or email or expressed this communicatively, vocally. That person didn't forget. It's been etched in stone, or it's like it's etched in stone or written in ink, almost the way like a tattoo is. It's forever. It's immortalized. So that says to me, you guys both left a permanent mark on the other one. For the most part, Gemini, I think this indicates that it's for the better. And because the thing is, this does get more optimistic and hopeful. I know this could be a lot of different people in your life right now. As much as I think you're trying to toughen up and, toughen up that upper lip or whatever the expression is, it's like, don't show face. I think when you're alone in private, where you can actually let your hair down and unwind and release the pent-up emotion, you actually do miss this person a lot. However, I do see you as not allowing yourself to go through that healing process and that feeling process as well. Yes, this is very funny. We can laugh, we can giggle. However, this is saying to me, in a higher vibration, you know that you should not be numbing yourself. You should actually allow yourself to experience these emotions and these feelings authentically. And it might be uncomfortable, and maybe that's why you have been numbing yourself, possibly with substances, right? It doesn't have to be. But there's something about it's uncomfortable to think about, and so instead of thinking about it, I'm going to distract myself from it. Only the feelings aren't going away because you're not acknowledging them. And something about this has to do with that missing person or that missing thing in your life. Maybe it's a job that you up and left too soon and you're having some sort of regret, and it's almost like you don't want to show face to go back to it and be like, hey, could I have my job back? You can view this through whatever lens you want. I'm just giving you examples of something transpired and now it's missing in your life and you're wanting it back. That's just what I get. So Gemini, this might not be your message if already you're like, I don't want them back. It's not this then. Do you understand what I mean? So it won't be for everyone, but that's the major message coming through here. So your major advice or guidance, that universe is encouraging you, but flat out, you already know this. If you are over abusing substances, and I'm not a prude, right? Smoke your weed, do what you want to do. If you're abusing substances because you don't want to access that vulnerable part of you, you're trying to cover it up. It's almost like not wanting to face the elephant in the room. You need to stop. Universe is saying, like, you need to confront this because it's only going to get worse. Ironically, though, I'm hearing this is fixable. This is fixable. Here's why. You have a divine pairing here. Okay, so FYI, we're not there yet, but again, it doesn't matter the gender. This has to do with their pairing. You have the King and Queen of Swords, right? So very likely this is a relationship among air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or someone who has that very strong in their chart. It could be that they have their Venus in an air sign or something like that, okay? And do keep in mind, this can be platonic. This could be familial love. This could be your work fam. Do you understand what I mean? But you're missing someone. So in your fears or hopes, you have 8 of Wands, which is, I love how it's depicted here. It's like this roller coaster of what? Roller coaster of emotions, Gemini. Look at that. Wands indicate travel, speed, action forward. There's something exhilarating about this, but it's also kind of scary. And that in itself feels like what this relationship was. There was something very exciting about it, but at the same time, you're like, oh, is this good for me? I almost think that a few of my Geminis out there may have picked up an unhealthy habit because of their ex, and because you're not together, you still participate in that activity or that use that substance because it's almost like you feel like it's like this kinship that you share. I'm totally just throwing an example at you, but say you dated someone and they literally smoke cigarettes. It could have been that they kind of introduced you to that, and then it's like you still hold on to their cigarettes because it's a memory of them. I know that's very specific, but again, translate it in your life how it applies. It's this pretending of, or it's not pretending, it's rather, let me find my words here. Holding on to a piece of them, even if that is a piece of their clothing or a memory or something that you associate with them, it's almost like it brings you a sense of comfort because it makes you believe they're still in your life, even in a small way, even though they most clearly are not. Here's the thing though, Gemini, it's almost like by holding on to that sentimental item that was theirs, or again, maintaining that unhealthy habit that you used to do together, right? It's almost like you're using that as a band-aid to help you heal from this, when it's really doing the opposite. It's like it's like adding fuel to the fire that if you're particularly sentimental about someone who you know they were no good for you, holding on to that piece of them, do you understand what I mean? It's not doing good things for you. However, if this was overall a healthy relationship and you really do love this person, and for some of you the feeling might be mutual, it's saying you're still using that piece of them as a band-aid when you actually want the person, but it's very terrifying or intimidating for you to actually reach out and tell them that. This is a very unusual spread. This would be a fascinating study in psychology, but let's see where this is going, because obviously some of you don't want to be with this person because it was a toxic relationship. Others of you do, but I get the sense you're too intimidated or fearful to go back to them, to admit fault or guilt or remorse or, like I broke it off with someone and now I regret it. Or the opposite. I mean, someone could have broken up with you, but even if that's the case, you miss the hell out of them, Gemini. It's like, again, they're the missing piece to the puzzle. You still have your eye on them, though. I see you as potentially looking them up on social media and seeing what they're up to. So let's look into this. Hopes and fears. Let's do this one. I'm getting exhilarating, adrenaline rush. And I think for a lot of you, this whole idea or this metaphor of like the substance abuse, were they the substance? Were you addicted to them? Was this a codependent relationship? It's like, I know it's not good for me, but I just can't kick the habit. That's a metaphor for a lot of you in different areas. I hope that's making sense for you. I'm seeing a lot of rainbows. I'm seeing 3 cards of Sagittarius right now, or possibly a male air sign, a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Possibly a Taurus could factor into this. So tell me a little bit more. Some of you were worried that there was something too immature. It was very fun while it lasted, but it felt like you were compromising your values or your beliefs or something about this relationship. It was just more immature. Like maybe you didn't make the most responsible decisions with them or vice versa. Or maybe you felt just like their influence on you wasn't great. And even if you stood your ground and you maintained like your self-respect, it's sort of like this temptation, this devil attitude of like, oh, like I want to hang out with them, but like, it's almost like, staying out late on a school night. That's what I'm getting. It's like, I know I shouldn't, but, and so that's fine every now and then to break your code, break the rules or whatever. But when it happened over and over again, there was something about this relationship where, again, I think it started to take its toll on you, certainly mentally, anxiety, possibly depression, or even sleepless nights. Anyway. Foolish. Again, there was a naivete or this is a card of sometimes Aries or Uranian energy. The planet Uranus, Aquarius is tied to this too. There was something very different and unique. This person is a very free spirit, and there was something to you, Gemini, where that was so refreshing and so amazing. And they had a very different perspective on life. They had a very worldly perspective. They were very adventurous, lighthearted. Again, devil may care. It doesn't mean they were a negative, toxic person per se. If anything, it's almost like they sprung with optimism, that type of thing. Only how long can we do that and not pay attention to like our adult responsibilities? I am getting so many metaphors of like, it's a ride. It's a wild ride being with this person and I love it, but is it good for me in the long term? I think your fears were starting to recognize that what you wanted wasn't what you needed. Because part of you needed stability, and that's very normal, Gemini. As much as we like to be wild go-getters, sometimes our life calls for us to be more practical and more stable, especially if you have strong Taurus in your chart. That's going to be very important to you, right? I also think that you guys were holding on to the hope that your person in time would settle down. It was that stupid expression like sow their wild oats or their wild seeds. It's like they just had to get it out of their system and then eventually they'll come back home to me and settle down. I don't think that happened in this time span that we're looking at. It doesn't mean it couldn't happen in the future. And so here's what I'm getting. Some of you made the executive decision to, again, honor your intentions, even though it was very hard. I'm getting that this was a head over heart decision, a bittersweet type decision where you understood, okay, something about this is not good for me, so I'm going to let it go. Many of my Geminis chose to end this or had a mutual conversation, a mutual decision of let's try some time apart. Unfortunately, with that person not being in your life, again, it's like, oh my God, I miss them. Like, oh my God, did I make a mistake? I think your hopes are that this person is going to, again, get it out of their system. They're going to date around and recognize, you know what? I was more stable with Gemini. Maybe I want them back. That's coming up in your hopes. I think your fear is that by giving them, I don't even want to say a long leash because they're off the leash. I don't really love that expression anyway, but by giving them the gift of freedom, like, okay, go do your thing. If you miss me, let me know. But ultimately, like, you know, if you love something, set it free. That's what I see you doing, which is very empowering, Gemini. I think that was a badass move on your part in terms of good for you. You're practicing healthy habits. However, again, yeah, it's like your hopes and your fears. Your hopes is that they're going to come to their senses and be like, I miss Gemini. I'm going to come back. Your fears are that you let them go and now they're gone forever. So never operate under the assumption that worst case scenario will transpire for you. If you're acting out of fear, you're not acting in a higher vibrational place. I'm not saying be naive and wear rose tinted glasses, but interesting, Gemini. I'm almost being called to say what you viewed in them that was so intoxicating and alluring as life is a party, let's just have fun. You need to apply that principle that you learned from them in your own life of, okay, I love them, but if they're not for me, you know, there's someone else out there for me. That lighthearted optimism and that joyful expression of passion and creativity, you need to start exercising that yourself. The idea that opposites attract, maybe that's your karmic lesson in this, whether this is your soulmate or it absolutely is a karmic. I can tell you this because there's something value to be learned from that experience. Not only the idea of, I don't mean to say you can just like throw your anxieties out the window. That's not how it works. I know that, you know that. Maybe you're being asked to look at how you're dealing with your anxiety and are you coping with it in a healthy way? Could you be doing it in a better way? If you're getting all up in your feels and then again, you're suppressing it because it's uncomfortable to deal with, dig deeper, go further, be uncomfortable because in that period of uncomfortability, there will be illumination, there will be an awakening, there will be a new perspective gained. You met this person for a reason. So whether you choose to try and get back together or not, walk away knowing this was not for nothing. This was insanely important to teach you about yourself, Gemini. Here's the thing. I understand that there was a huge aspect about this person that it was very thrilling. It was very fun. I'm just sort of getting jovial energy. That was great to be around. And again, maybe that was a band-aid because when you were not with them, you suffered with anxiety or depression or I don't know, some sort of issue that it was easier to not think about that and hang out with the fun person. But then when the fun person left, you were only left with yourself. And for some of you, you're being asked to love yourself more, to heal yourself, to stop ignoring those wounds or those issues that you've been carrying around with you for possibly years at a time. I think you made the right move. So just to give you guys a sense of calm or peace of mind, no matter where you are on this journey right now, whether you're with them or contemplating this or that, you were meant to set them free. These archer's bows of the Eight of Wands, the Cupid's arrows, they were meant to fly free. It's like they landed, it's almost like they ricocheted. They landed on your doorstep and then I'm seeing like math charts and math equations where there's a peak and a valley and it dips and this was all fated. This was meant to be. You didn't do anything wrong. So I know some of you are at the point where like, I should have said this or I shouldn't have said that. It's fine. You said it. Don't worry about it. It will make sense later, but you have to have faith that the whole point of this was not about them. It was about you. The whole point of this was about you, not about them. I really need you to hear that part, okay? Ten of Pentacles. By clinging on to just the part of them that was fun and refusing to recognize either the immaturity or the lack of stability this person could offer you, it's easy to dismiss that because it was early on enough in a relationship where you're like, all right, maybe they'll change. Only it's asking you to consider, what if they didn't? What if that devil may care attitude or this, whatever, I'm not going to tie myself down, loosey-goosey, no commitment type energy. What if that didn't change? Think about what that would do to your mental state or again, to your financial stability. There was definitely some rose-tinted glasses in this scenario. It's almost like this person probably has their own well of issues to focus on as well, independently, an introspective journey. But by trying to force a relationship together where divine timing is just like, no, you need to understand that those blessings are, rejection is divine protection. Those blockings were actually a blessing in disguise because somehow you would have started to take on their baggage and their issues. Or, maybe they were the one who had extreme emotional ups and downs. Maybe they had severe anxiety, but they were covering it up with, it's fine, it doesn't matter. Again, maybe they were the one who had substance abuse issues. Whatever the case is, it was saying this person had to leave because they had nothing to offer you in terms of stability. So, if you were looking for a hit it and quit it type thing, possibly that person is capable of that. But I almost think the universe is saying aim higher. Like, you can do that. Like, cool. But like, if you're looking for something tangible and solid and with longevity, at least in the form this person came in at the time, they were not able to offer you that. So it's saying, feel free to look elsewhere, but most importantly, look to yourself for that stability. This is a great and important time for you to get grounded, Gemini. Now, what you have coming in the future is the Star of Hope. Divine healing. And I mean, it's a little bit sexy, isn't it? Right? So I'm not going to say that this person doesn't come back to you. I think universe is saying, however you choose to proceed with this, if this person does come back, especially the Sagittarius or the Aquarius, did you learn the lessons the first time around? There could have been some sort of, I'm hearing the word intervention. So take that in multiple ways. What I was going to say, though, was some sort of intervention on when you let this person free, one or both of you may have caught a new one in your net. And so now it's not really third party because I don't sense that you're together, but it got all the more complicated because, again, if you've been spying, you may see, I did that thing of, if you love someone, set them free. Well, I did. And now they're dating Barbara. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know why I said that name, but now there's this element. It's more complicated because there's more people here now. But ultimately, what's coming into your future is the star. So it could quite literally be an Aquarius. You have 3 cards of Sagittarius, and I actually just did Sagittarius, and they had this card come in as well in the exact same position. So I'm just putting it out there. And again, did I say Aquarius? I think I did. You have a few cards of Aquarius here too. The star coming in, it's an offer. Okay, and it's a more solid offer. So I just have this gut feeling, this intuition. It probably is the same person coming back around to you. And the thing is, I think they've gained a little bit more wisdom and knowledge, a little bit more maturity. That being said, it's still a knight. It's not a queen. It's not a king. It's not like this childish energy. But even the color scheme is sort of saying to me, this might be the same person coming back in. So something about this involving your wish fulfillment may come back into play here. But I think you really need to respect your boundaries, again, in terms of valuing yourself, not giving yourself away for free, and also not being having them be financially reliant on you. I could see that being an issue here where they're great and they're fun, but they can't hold a job, and so you're the main breadwinner. Again, that's up to you how big of a compromise that is, but I'm very much a proponent of, equilibrium, balance, equal contributions to the mutual pot, because again, if this person were to up and leave again, and do you know what I mean? Like, there needs to be an established his and hers, or his and his, whatever this is, hers and hers, so that even if something breaks, you guys still have something afterwards. I do feel like there was an unhealthy addiction issue almost to each other, but I'm almost getting, don't shoot the messenger, I'm almost getting this like Sid and Nancy type vibe, where it's super dangerous and not healthy, but there's this, but I love you. And so obviously this isn't everybody's story, but I am getting an unhealthy addiction to one another, codependency, or whatever it is. And again, drugs and substances may have been a key factor in this for at least one of you, if not both of you. So ultimately, what's due to you is healing. You need to focus on your own spiritual healing. It could indicate that you have a new offer coming in romantically, dating-wise, possibly a Virgo or an Aquarius. Again, I'm being called to say, though, make sure you're not putting Band-Aids on your own wounds and being like, well, that didn't work out. Let me see who else I can catch in my net. Because again, you're avoiding the inevitable, which is this is about you. It's not about him or her or them or us or we. This is about you healing your own karma, right? Your own spiritual baggage, right? And Nine of Swords says this has been piling up for quite some time, Gemini. This is not something brand new. Whatever you're avoiding the healing process of, that's what universe is like. Here, can we focus on this? You need to commit to your own spiritual healing. Commit to loving yourself more. You do have a beautiful ability to wish the best for people, and I think that's very admirable. I do think, especially with your Sagittarius, you may have been wearing a little bit of rose-tinted glasses of avoiding the things you didn't like or choosing not to acknowledge them because, like, well, I really believe in them and they're such a good person. I know they can get through it. Absolutely. That's so nice to wish positive things for people, only it's not your job to do it. It's up to them. So you need to hold yourself accountable for your healing, and they need to hold their self accountable for theirs. As much as you guys can work together as a team, you are responsible for your own healing. And that's what this was lacking. I can see it quite clearly. So how do you see yourself? This is so cute, Gemini, the 9 of Cups. This is you being like, I'm a damn catch. I am this person's wish fulfillment. It's almost like they are mine and I am theirs. Like, if there's something about this where you do see potential in you guys working well together. I mean, I don't know if I see that. And the thing is, I'm not really here to comment on that. Let's keep going. I will give you a fair assessment at the end, but I have to be honest, I'm kind of teetering on I don't know yet. I need more information. You see yourself as having a lot to offer and a lot to give in a situation. Again, this feels very like sparkly, New Year's Eve, throw confetti, go out with the guys and the gals and celebrate. There's something very fun and exciting about you. And I think this person recognized that element in you and brought out more of it. And so this was a beautiful quality because it was attractive, only I think you went too hard on this quality. I am getting issues with drinking quite a bit in this, just putting it out there. So I don't mean to offend. I obviously come from it from a very nurturing place, but just I would watch that if that's something you've been struggling with, because it could be that this person is a trigger where you indulge more in unhealthy behaviors, okay? Even, I don't mean to go super dark, but even in terms of cutting, which, again, I don't know too much about. I'm not a doctor. That's not really my territory. But with the sword energy, self-inflicted wounds, I'm getting that a little bit. So just be cognizant of that. Anyway, you see yourself as a catch. And you have a lot to offer. And in a really beautiful way, it's like, I do think some of you are celebrating your good qualities. You're like, I'm great. Only you're also like, but why don't they see it? It doesn't matter. It's about you. If you see it, then you have to have faith. Someone else out there will see it too. I mean, this person did once upon a time too. You're great in social situations. It's like, I always say this to one of my best friends who's a Gemini. It's like, you can spark up a conversation with anyone. Everybody naturally gravitates towards you because you're very interesting. You're fun to talk to. You see things from different perspectives. And there's a sociability or a social skill that Geminis just naturally have. So this is not the only fish in the sea. There's so many people out there who are looking to like clink glasses with you and get an opportunity to talk to you and romance you and chat with you, right? And you know this. This is like, you do know this at your core. This is how you see yourself, as wish fulfillment. Are you wish fulfillment to yourself? It's like you see yourself as the wish. I know this makes sense. It's confusing. The wish fulfillment for other people. Almost like this, I help heal people. Interesting. It's almost like I know that I have the skill of warmth and integrity and whatever it is where people are attracted to me. And I'm trying to phrase this correctly. I do good things for them, but here's the thing. By attracting those people who need you, you're not giving yourself the proper love and attention you deserve. It's almost like you're pouring from an empty cup because all your love and whatever, it's going to other people, almost in a people-pleasing type manner. That's what I was trying to get at here. You're too worried about pleasing everyone else when universe is saying, what about you? Like, can we just start with you? You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't heal in an environment that broke you or with a person who broke you. So again, this separation, which is really what this feels like to me, it was destined. It was meant to be. Doesn't mean it couldn't come back together in the future. To be honest, for some of you, I see that happening. I don't know if I would advise it yet, but I do see it happening. But enjoy this time, this lull, this rest, to really dig in deeper to the emotions. Get uncomfortable, journal about it, seek therapy, talk to a counselor about it, because it's time to kick the habit once and for all. Whatever that habit is, whether that is lacking self-love, lacking confidence, codependency, addiction issues, it is time to kick the habit, okay? The Emperor. Yeah, this was about getting your stability back. This person rocked your stability. Again, this could have been someone who was financially dependent on you, or you loaned them a huge sum of money because they screwed up in some way. You may also have daddy issues. You may have grown up in a household, Gemini, and I don't mean to be cruel at all. I say that jokingly, but I really shouldn't. We all have daddy issues. You may have grown up in a household where your father was very strict on you, or never showed you proper love and warmth and affection, and so you naturally, subconsciously, are driven to people who are emotionally closed off or people who are very hard on you. And so here's the thing though, that's ironic because this is showing me like the very stern kind of cold emperor, right? It's like, get the job done. Don't give me any of your whining, no complaining. I think you may have like slidden into brand new territory where you actually met someone who it possibly was the complete opposite of that, only what your father did teach you, even if they were a little bit cold and distant, was responsibility. Take this seriously. So universe is saying, take seriously your self-love. Manifesting your own wishes simply for you. Again, not for others, not for being a people pleaser. And to me, that whole message of the people pleaser goes back to trying to win over a masculine in your life who you're basing your self-worth on how they interact with you, on how much they give you praise and love and attention. You're barking up the wrong tree if you're trying to win over your father's approval. Sure, it would be nice. Does it matter? Not really. Not if you don't want it to. By all means, if this is saying you need to fix something and heal something from your past, the missing puzzle piece maybe was with an absent father. Sure, if you can, if you're able to, if he's still here and alive and whatever, by all means, maybe your wish fulfillment is healing things with your father, particularly if your father's is an Aries or a Sagittarius or an Aquarius. Or a male air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Some of you are dating the same zodiac sign as your father. Let that sink in for a minute. Gemini, that one's hot. That one has power to it. All right. So how do other people see you? As the Queen of Swords? I love it. Gemini. So that is your natural energy, like air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I think if you were to go through this healing process, they see you as, I'm wanting to say powerful, but astronomically powerful, unshakable, confident, determined, someone who sets healthy boundaries, somebody who honors their inner truth, somebody who fights for justice, for truth, for empowerment, Libra energy, someone whose internal scale is balanced. It's always at equilibrium. So no matter who comes and goes in your life, whether it's a long-term relationship or just a fun one-night stand, you are unshakable. I made that decision and it's my truth and I'm confident, and it's like honoring your wishes and your own desires. There's a huge step in your personal life and your like growth into empowerment by going through what is a very difficult circumstance. So again, I'm telling you, this isn't fun energy, but in the long run, it will make sense because it forced you to step up and put your best foot forward. And to say goodbye to unhealthy patterns. Now, it could be patterns of thought, your belief, something someone told you once in your youth that you started to believe was true, only it wasn't. I do see this as almost a tower moment of, oh my gosh, something I thought to be true isn't. Or that person who I thought was my soulmate isn't. There's something about this where it was a karmic connection. You guys were meant to go through it together. It's almost like destiny or the divine paired you two together for a reason, but that reason was to learn something about yourself. That by definition is really twin flame. I hesitate to use that term because I think it is grossly misused in the tarot community. I don't want to get into it because it's a personal belief, and you're allowed to believe whatever you want, Gemini. I'm not here to comment on that. To me, though, it was karmic. It was meant to be, but it doesn't mean it's the one who's healthy for you, but it was someone who would initiate great internal change on your spiritual path, okay? So what is your advice or guidance? The Hanged Man is the one who's kept waiting. The Hanged Man is upside down because he needs to change his perspective and to see the world externally, what's around him, the people, the places, the things, the relationships, from a different perspective. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, I'm wanting to say that, as well as not being able to see the forest from the trees. With distance from this person, you're going to have a different perspective on what you thought it was versus what it actually is. Quite literally, when you ascend in your spiritual journey, you have the higher perspective to look down and see, oh, that was me years ago when I settled for love, when I settled for, I don't know, whatever, abusive partners, whether that was mentally, emotionally, physically. If that's the case, Gemini, I could not condone going back to someone who did that to you, right? And again, that's up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I want you to know I'm not coming at this, oh, you can heal it, it's fine. You might be able to. It's up to you, but I would give this time and space and distance because I know a lot of you are really confused right now and it's not totally making sense. It will in time, but you can't rush the healing process. And by avoiding the healing process, right, You are delaying the inevitable. Universe is not going to, and I don't mean this to sound like a punishment. Hear me out. Universe is not going to allow you to get into more long-term relationships when it's like the glaring fact of the matter is, or the elephant in the room is that you still have internal wounds that need time and attention in your healing. It's not a punishment. The punishment is not helping yourself. Do you understand that? This idea of, it's never my turn. The universe never, throws me anyone good. It's not fair. Universe is saying the opposite. Like, it's so not fair that Gemini is wanting to get involved with people when they're carrying around all this baggage into a relationship that they're forcing other people to take on. I know that sounds mean. I don't mean it to be. I am saying this with love and compassion, but there's like a giant red flag, which is that you still have something to figure out about yourself. That's why in relationships, they never take off the way you hoped, or you sink back into old patterns or old behaviors that, quite frankly, are kind of toxic. So here's the guiding hope, or the North Star of all this, is coming in your future is the North Star, right? And ultimately, this deck is different, but it does have to do with the higher perspective, right? On top of those cold mountains. When you're removed from the person you love, and again, there's coldness or distance between you, you're going to have a different perspective. I think a lot of you are going to realize this relationship was much more sexually driven, but there wasn't enough substance and earth energy to keep it going long term. Now, I have to be honest, especially for those dealing with a male air sign, a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, I think this person still views you as their wish fulfillment, or views you as a potential partner. If you're dealing with an air sign, a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, they will very likely show back up in your life. But will you want them to? That's the question. I don't think you know the answer to that yet, because a lot of you haven't done the healing. So again, you can take them back. I'm not here to tell you not. I would not take them back if you haven't focused on your own healing. Yeah, they see you as powerful, even a little bit intimidating, especially if you do reach a point where you're really taking care of yourself and you're thriving and living your best life, whether you're single or with someone new. I think this person is a little bit intimidated because you've taken on this newfound power. You do need to draw more healthier boundary lines in terms of how much you're willing to give in a relationship. Ultimately, your advice or guidance is, are you ready to transform? It's not saying transform. It's saying, are you ready to transform? Because transformation is the death card. That's number 13, bringing an ending to a cycle that is long overdue to end. Again, it's like it's always been the missing piece of the puzzle. I'm always getting this funny metaphor of you being Sherlock Holmes, like, why does it never work out? And it's like, because it's you. It's like, stop looking for the pieces externally. You need to go internally to solve this puzzle, to solve this mystery. Anyone got Scorpio on their chart? That seems very Scorpionic. Again, going deep into the uncomfortable emotions. Major transformation is what this needs, but your advice or guidance is asking yourself, are you actually ready to do it this time? Even if you've had many stints in rehab or on again, off again with this person, are you actually ready to transform this time? And again, the universe is like, don't do it for me, do it for you. It's for you. Are you motivated enough? Do you love yourself enough to seek the help that you need? Because you're a lovable Gemini, in case you don't know it. I'm actually getting kind of emotional seeing this. A lot of you started to believe that you didn't deserve love, or you chose partners specifically who you thought matched your integrity and your value, and it's like you were shooting way too low. Aim higher. You really do have so much to bring to a relationship. I think the universe is trying to get you to see it, though, to step into your power. This is how the universe sees you too, right? The magician, the wizard, powerful. Again, lots of air energy, a very strong communicator. Someone who is very capable of transforming a situation, of manifesting new beginnings, of healing, right? Mercurial energy can be like medical in a sense, right? Some of you are going to have a huge spiritual awakening about like a medical condition that you maybe have had and not wanted to move forward on, or something needing medical professionals or medical help, whether again that's a counselor or a psychologist, or I don't even know. I am sort of getting something to do with substances. So I'm just putting it out there. And I don't do fear-based readings at all. I'm not saying you're going to be unexpectedly diagnosed with something. However, I am going to say that if you continue unhealthy habits where you're really putting your body through insane amounts of fill in the blank, this could be a forewarning. Have you thought of like the compromises you're making in terms of like what you're going to have to do medically in the future if you don't get a hold of this. Again, I don't do that to provoke fear in you. It's just, it's a very logical statement. Like, if you are not treating your body well, what are the medical consequences of that? Universe is just saying that to you. Again, I'm getting something about a very critical father or a critical masculine. It could have been someone who, it's almost like you were seeking a parental person in a relationship, and so you ended up with like an abusive ex or something of the sort, someone who laughed at you and made you feel silly or didn't treat you with respect. It's almost like they talked down to you, and for some of you, it's your literal father. A lot of you are still carrying around that weight and that burden, and it's affecting your relationships. But universe says there's a relationship out there for you that you're going to love, but you have to change your perspective on it. And so much of this is recalling the Sagittarius reading. So if you are dealing with a Sag, I do recommend you, and you're going through this, I do recommend that you watch it because there's similarities. This is saying to me, ultimately, you can live in a state of victimhood. And I'm being gentle, okay? I'm not judging you guys. I say this with love in my heart. It only serves you to live in victimhood for like this amount of time. Ultimately, it's about taking the power back. It has nothing to do with justifying what was done to you, no matter how bad it was. But ultimately, you can choose to stay in this woe is me, everything bad always happens to me. And almost like it's not fair. You're right, Gemini. It wasn't fair. That was bullshit and it should have happened to you, but it did. So now what? And again, this is me giving you insanely tough love. Like, I am sympathetic to knowing that some of you went through something very traumatic in your youth in a relationship. Again, I'm not justifying the abuser or whatever happened to you. I am saying you are accountable for your own healing. Not him, not her, not them, not your parents. Again, it's the same message. This is about you. Don't make it about them. Don't make it about me. It's about you. How are you going to take your power back and no longer play the victim or be the victim? This is about transforming your life in ways that you've never done before. And universe is saying it's time. Queen of Swords is like my no bullshit queen. In a very, do I even want to say this? I do, because it perfectly fits my metaphor. Do I want to say this? This is something my father says to me, who is so like, no bullshit, don't whine. Like, I so relate to this message, Gemini. He jokingly, this is like such an old school saying and it's not appropriate, but it's not, yeah, I'm just gonna say it. He, you know, if he caught us complaining about something silly, he'd be like, don't give me your labor pains, show me the baby. Like, are you gonna unearth this thing or not? It's like, you're already knee deep in, you're already pregnant with the baby. You can't give up now. Show me the baby. Like, and I know that's incredibly gender insensitive. Like, that's my dad, he's an old school generation. But it's like, don't give me your labor pains, show me the baby. I know you fought a battle. We are all victims in a sense. Everybody has had something done to them that is debilitating, right? This is saying, understood, acknowledge, that shouldn't have happened, but what are you going to do about it, Gemini? It's powerful, right? This is very powerful, Gemini. This is laced with emotion. I can feel it. Even talking about this, I can sense that a lot of you are very uncomfortable. And so, no, that's not my intention here. My intention is to motivate you. Like, I gotta not just talk the talk. I gotta walk the walk. This tarot reading in particular, this is tough love, Gemini. This is a rough one, but I think it will serve you on the other end. Are you ready to welcome beautiful relationships into your life that match your capabilities? Again, there's reciprocity in the amount of love you can get back and forth. Then you need to change internally so that externally your world, your scenario, your people, your posse start to change with you. So what is your potential outcome? 3 of Wands, your ships are coming in. A lot of you do have an ex coming back. And I don't know what to tell you about this. Universe says be very careful. 2 of Swords, it's almost like someone who's defensive or on guard, and rightfully so, because you need to be protective of your energy, especially if you've put a lot of stock into healing, karmic wounds, physical wounds, your body, whatever this is. If you do have an ex trying to come back, you need to be very careful in how you handle it, especially one that was very passionate and a physically based relationship, very sexual. It's not to say you can't engage in it, but is it for the best? Or are you falling back into old patterns? And here's the thing, Gemini, I'm going to tell you, if you do fall back into an old pattern, okay, you're human. Forgive yourself. Don't punish yourself for accidentally slipping up. It's going to happen. Forgive yourself easily every day. Universe forgives you. But again, you need to bring it back to, okay, now what? Now what? It's about continuing to grow and develop and pushing through the obstacles. If you slip up, you slip up. Again, it's like, you scrape your knee, okay, let's mend it and get back out on the field, right? You got to keep playing the game, because you do have good things coming in for you. Your ships are coming in. So tell me, universe, what are these ships coming in for Gemini? If they do the healing process, what can we tell them? Some of you, it's a fire sign, an Aries, Leo, Sag, possibly an Aries. Others of you, it's totally this like, I don't know if I love this message, but I'm not going to not tell you. This whole kind of like Sid and Nancy type thing. I do see that person coming back like on their moped, on their bike, like, hey, Gemini. Maybe they've done the healing. Maybe they went through the exact same thing you did so that you guys can reunite and be a kick-ass couple. Again, I'm not advocating going back to anybody who was abusive in any way or any kind. I don't advocate for that. But for some of you, if this was just somebody had a drinking habit and you decided no more, I don't want to be a part of that life, and maybe they got sober, why the hell not? Do you understand what I mean? It's different for all of you. So what's coming in? Your King of Pentacles. Oh, okay, someone who has more stability. Interesting. All right, here's what I think is going to happen for some of you, okay? This person who started off as the Fool, I think they come back later after there's been much time and distance and separation, which by the time you have no control over this timeline of when they come back, so don't worry about it. Pay no mind. They will very likely come back. It's not up to you, so don't worry about it. Focus on you. I do think a lot of you, this person comes knocking. Some of you may choose to entertain them. Some of you may not, and that's fine. I think the first time they come back, you're going to send them packing. I don't think you're going to entertain it, because I think you're going to recognize you've made some progress, but I'd really like to see you come as the king. It's almost like you're going to wait for the king's offer, not the knight. Now, do keep in mind, this could be the progress of this person's spiritual journey. You know, see how they're all the same color? This could easily be the same person who, you know, Fool to the Knight to the King. Eventually, they're coming correct. They're coming to you right. But again, it's going to take some time. Others of you, again, the message still stands. This ex may come back into your life. Again, potentially the Virgo or the Aquarius. It doesn't have to be. You may send them away, like, thank you, but no thank you. Or, I'll be honest, you may hit it and quit it. You know, old habits die hard. I see that happening too. No matter what you choose to do, I think a lot of you may entertain it briefly and either send them packing or do a quick little quickie. Ultimately, though, I think from that experience, you're going to be like, you know what? That's not what I want. It's almost like you have to revisit it to understand, is it what I thought it was way back in the day? Or has my perspective really changed on this person, on this situation? If you do decide to send them packing, you very likely have a new male earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn coming in, who you guys are going to write the history books with. This is going to be like the father of your children or grandchildren or this and that. In fact, for my females, you may be significantly older than this person. And I don't see that happening immediately, but your ships are coming in. It's almost like universe is saving a good one for you, but they don't want you to self-sabotage and get engaged with someone who really has their shit together until you do too. And vice versa. If you do have your shit together, universe isn't wanting to welcome in all these extra people who are going to like impede on that, all that like growing and healing you've done. This was karmic, 100%. Could it be for the long term? Maybe. I think your person may still kind of view you that way, Gemini. But my biggest advice to you would be focus on yourself right now, because really that's the only thing in your control. Know your value and your worth. You need to start understanding that in ways that you never have before, because you do have a lot to offer, and you need to remember to forgive yourself easily for past mistakes. And I'm going to say this too, forgive others. It doesn't mean you have to take them back. You learned how to set boundaries now, but you need a stick-to-itiveness about who you're going to allow in your life. Even if that means, you know what, my dad really brings me down. I don't care to talk to him anymore. Again, I wouldn't advise that. I'm more of a be the bigger person and try and, mend fences where you can. But you know your situation more than I. If it is impossible to fix your, quote, daddy issues, fine. But again, it's like aim higher. Pay attention to the signs, card number 10. That does make me think of Wheel of Fortune, possibly Sagittarius or Scorpio energy. Maybe you got a Scorp-Sag cusper. Sorry, can you guys see that? How teachable are you? I feel like this is the universe wanting to school you a little bit. 9 makes me think of Virgo. Also, 9th house, Sagittarius. I promise I'm not trying to make this about Sag, but it's all over this reading. You also have a little Neptune energy too, so it could have been a Pisces, or again, this romanticizing, dreamlike projection onto who they could be, but not who they really are. Don't live in fantasy land. Go off of the truths, off of the facts of the matter. Self-sabotage. I don't mean to laugh, but I do sense that this is you, Gemini. I don't mean to offend. It's just, Yeah, it's like you got the Grim Reaper knocking at your door the longer you keep participating in unhealthy habits. And again, that could be codependency. That could be lacking self-love, not treating yourself right. And then love, 28. Oh, look at us ending on a positive note. 2 and 8 make the 10. You did have 10 of Pentacles, possibly with an Aries or an Aquarius. Again, 10 is the Wheel of Fortune. Goes down to a 1, which is my Magician. So maybe a Virgo or a Gemini is involved here. Yeah, especially if this is feminine and masculine, it doesn't have to be, but if you, Gemini, are the one who ended it, I do think that this person still looks back and checks in on you. Even if they don't reach out, verbally or via text, I think this person still essentially like watches you. Do you see what's showing in this? Yeah. And also 28. Instantly, I heard February 28th. It's not Valentine's Day. I don't know. February 28th. Mark your calendar and tell me what happens then. I think it's of 2021. I don't know why I heard February, but I did, so why not share it with you? Or maybe it's February 8th. I don't know. 28. I heard February 28th, though. Interesting. Put a little star on your February 28th and tell me what happens. Because for some of you, there's going to be some sort of significant shift in a relationship. For a lot of you, I feel like it has to do with the father or the masculine who didn't treat you well. Anyway, Gemini, that was a heavy one, but I hope it did serve some of you out there. And let me know how you like this new format. I did that thing where I pulled the cards in advance, so I know some people like to see me do it. For the most part, I think it's a trust thing, but I read with honesty and integrity, which I'm hoping you can tell. So, the cards fell out the way they did, so I read them, but some people like to see them. So anyway, let me know what you think of this new system, just starting you off with the cards already shuffled. And yeah, I would love to hear your input and your opinion. If you like it, if you dislike it, whatever, just let me know in the comments. That would be cool. Other than that, like, share, subscribe. Have a very happy holiday. And I will see you next time for more lighthearted Little Sips Mini Love Tarot. Bye, Gemini.